Good evening, it's 7 o'clock here in New York City, and this is the Tibet Center, Kunchab Tarduling, a Buddhist meditation and study center located here in New York City and in northern New Jersey. This is our twice weekly presentation of the Buddha Dharma. If there is anyone for whom you want us to pray for who has passed away in the last recent past, today, whatever, put their names in the chat box as soon as you can. When we say the Sutra of the Recollection of the Three Jewels, people will see their names and pray for them. All the prayers we say are on the website, right on the front page. Click on prayers. What else? That's it. There'll be varied topics tonight. A little bit of meditation on love and compassion from Zapachul Rinpoche, His Holiness Dalai Lama's presentation of the Bardo in between state, and then a presentation on the object of negation by His Holiness from his lecture at Lehigh University in the late 90s. Or early 20s, I forget. Early 2000s. Prayer for the spreading of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems, and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West, for all the people living there together with their near ones, who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them. May all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness. May they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. The Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once, the Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the samadhi which examines the dharmas called profound illumination, and at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva, Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, how should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge? And Avalokiteshvara answered, Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Form is empty. Emptiness itself is form. Emptiness is not separate from form. Form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Thus all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge. And since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. They transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future, by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awakened to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed, Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisoha. O Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva, Mahasattva, should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family. Profound transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering and the world with its gods, humans, Asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praise the words of the Blessed One. And in our refuge in Bodhisattva vow under the heading Generating Bodhicitta, we say these verses 3 times. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. So as is our custom, we recite 1 round of Om Mani Padme Hum, the mantra of Avalokiteshvara, who personifies great compassion. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Oh, I was going to start with His Holiness the Bardo, description of the space between 2 lives, the Bardo, but instead I think we'll start with, it's a narrative and it's easy to get into the mood with Sapatru Rinpoche's meditation on love, heart of love, compassion, equanimity. It can get very heavy, but it's to a good purpose. getting joy they did, or love, you know, they. We did meditation on sympathetic joy. In other words, when someone, and that's an antidote to jealousy, one of the most poisonous things you could have in your mind. No, I can't find them. Meditation on the, where did we go? Here it is. Okay, I even marked it with a marker, and I didn't. This is from page 198 of this book called Words of My Perfect Teachers. It's known in Tibetan as Kunsang Lame Jalung. All the sects read this. All the stories in it, Chungla Rinpoche used to tell it. He lived in the late 1800s. He died in 1885. So not too far away from our era. It's not like it's the year 1000, 1100 like Milarepa. So he was a wandering ascetic. He lived, slept on the ground and everything. But he was a great scholar too. And you could tell when he gives these lectures, he quotes all these great Buddhists of the past. So he's not just a guy naturally sitting alone. He has a strong background and strong education in formal monastic studies, besides being a yogi. So very unusual. I told you, he was given gifts and he never took them. He just left them there. Someone tried to rob him. where you can go get him. I left them there. Strange. So, meditation on love from page 198. Zapatral now speaking. Through meditating on boundless impartiality as described. In other words, you don't favor this one over that one. All beings are equal. You reach that point. The point he's making here is you have to do this in sequence. You can't just say, I'm going to meditate, I love everybody. First, get everyone lined up that they're all the same. Same as you. That's the first step. Then the meditation on love works. And then the meditation on compassion will work based on the meditation on love. That's how it works. Through meditating on boundless impartiality as described, you come to regard all beings of the three worlds with the same great love. The love that you feel for all of them should be like that of parents taking care of their young children. They ignore all their children's ingratitude and all the difficulties involved. Those of you who brought up children know this is devoting their every thought, word, and deed entirely to making their little ones happy, comfortable, and cozy. Likewise, in this life and all your future lives. Devote everything you do, say, or think to the well-being and happiness of all beings. Your mind is now out there for everybody else, not in here for little me. Who's little me? Not important. All those beings are striving for happiness and comfort, same as you. They all want to be happy and comfortable. Not one of them wants to be unhappy or to suffer. Yet they do not understand that the cause of happiness is positive actions. Very important. You want happiness? Do something positive. Don't do negative actions, because it's automatic. You're not going to get anything good from that. So don't blame everyone. You know what to do now. Instead, they give themselves over to the... people want happiness, but they do the 10 negative actions. That's what he's saying. So how could they be happy? So it's his job now to tell them, look, don't do this, do that. Like Leung tells us, don't do that. Sit this way. Same thing. Their deepest wishes and their actions are therefore at odds. In their attempts to find happiness, they only bring suffering upon themselves. They want to be happy, but they're not going about it right. They're causing their own misery. And this is us. That's not, oh yeah, those people, no, that's us. We have to take this advice to heart. Over and over again, he's telling you, meditate on the thought of how wonderful it would be if each one of these beings could have all the happiness and comfort that they wish. Meditate on it until you want us to be happy just as intensely as you want to be happy yourself. And this is something you do with a narrative mind. I want them to be, I want this or that. Best if you could pick out individuals. Not just in general, think of the whole stadium full of people. They all should be happy. Yeah, that's very nice, but this should be happy. The guy in the bakery should be happy. And the one who drives a cab, that one. All these individual people. Can you make them happy yourself? No. It won't hurt them. But it develops you so that eventually you will feel spiritually developed and a Buddha. And then you can deliberately present things that will make them change the way they are. So right now, as we are, we're not ready to do the things that a Buddha could do. But this is how you build to it. Very simple. The sutras speak of loving actions of body, loving actions of speech, and loving actions of mind. What this means is that everything you say with your mouth or do with your hands, instead of being harmful to others, should be straightforward and kind. As it says in the Way of the Bodhisattvas, whenever catching sight of others, look on them with open, loving heart. This is Santideva's book. Patrol continues, even when you simply look at someone else, let that look be smiling and pleasant rather than an aggressive glare or some expression of anger. Chungla will call dirty look. Don't give a dirty look. His Holiness, when you see him, boom. He's a light bulb. He's got more than that. He's the sun, smiling, ooh, always. We could be like that. He was once normal. I don't believe it, but he was. He was normal like us. There are stories about this, like the one about the powerful ruler who glared at everyone with a very wrathful look. It is said that he was reborn as a preta, a hungry ghost, living on leftovers under the stove of a house, and after that, it got worse. Because he had looked at a holy being in that way, he was reborn in hell. So don't glare at certain beings that are very powerful spiritually. These are sources of great merit or great demerit. People who are sick, your parents, yogis, your teacher, those people, sources of great power if you treat them properly. Whatever actions you do with your body, try to do them gently and pleasantly, endeavoring not to harm others, but to help them. I remember she's saying, especially doing rituals, don't put here the bell, this, no, very soft, like this, this, put this here, put that there, like that. We should think that way, because a certain mind comes into effect when you start carefully placing things, smoothing stuff out. You're making a bed for a sick person, you make it very nice, you don't disturb, things like that. That's important, because it's training you and your whole nervous system to go about things differently. Tantra especially. You don't, the rituals have to, whatever gestures you do have to be done in a smooth and sometimes sexy like that. Not no. Think about it and think what happens to you when you're doing things like that, when you smile, what's happening to your mind and nervous system. You're training yourself. It's very important. Your speech should not express such attitudes as contempt, criticism, or jealousy. That leaves everybody in business out of the place. How could you go to work with me? So, make every single word you say pleasant and true, as best as you can. We'll add it to be realistic. As for your mental attitude, when you help others, do not wish for anything good in return. I'm helping them, I'm going to get merit. Oh, I can't wait. And you start adding it up, maybe. Do not be a hypocrite and try to make other people see you as a bodhisattva because of your kind words and actions. Be careful. Simply wish for others' happiness from the bottom of your heart and only consider what would be most beneficial for them. That's it. Let it go. Don't look for a reward. It's gone. You did it because you're supposed to do it. And soon it'll become a habit you don't have to think about. How nice is that? Pray again and again with these words. Throughout all my lives, may I never harm so much as a single hair on another being's head, and may I always help each of them. This guy's very holy. This is only a thought. But if you repeat the thought, it becomes us. It becomes, and then where we're born is affected by that thought. The whole environment is affected by that thought. Building up, building up. That's how everything about here came about. Through people's collective karma. It is particularly important to avoid making anyone under your authority to suffer by beating them, forcing them to work too hard, and so on. You want to remember this and bring it to work. I'm tell your boss. This applies to your servants, and all this is all right. He's writing in the context of Tibet. There's a lot of things about animals and stuff that people, they're hard to hear, but we have to say it. Right, also to your animals, right down to the humblest watchdog. Always, under all circumstances, be kind to them in thought, word, and deed. To be reborn as a servant or as a watchdog, for that matter, and to be despised and looked down upon by everyone is the maturations of the effects of your past actions. You will be that dog that you beat. Cause and effect, hands down, no negotiating. That's it, unless you clear the karma, which is why we have confession. It is the reciprocal effect of having despised and looked down upon on others while in a position of power in a past life. You were nasty. If you now despise others because of your own power and wealth, you will repay that debt in some future life by being reborn as their servants. So be especially kind to those in a lower position than yourself. Anything you can do physically, verbally, or mentally to help with your own parents, especially, or those suffering from chronic ill health, sick people, sources of merit, bigger sources of merit, will bring inconceivable benefits. Atisha says, Jowo Atisha he calls them, to be kind to those who have come from afar, and as travelers, to those who have been ill for a long time, or to our parents in their old age, is equivalent to meditating on emptiness, of which compassion is the very essence. They connect compassion and emptiness. They connect. It's very interesting how they do it. Constantly it comes woven in. Not just as our patrol, Atisha. So this goes beyond who's yellow hat, who's this, who's that. No hat. Throw the hat out. Very important. Our parents have shown us such immense love and kindness that to upset them in their old age would be an extremely negative act. Some cultures have this built in. I noticed the Asian cultures, Chinese culture especially, the little I know about it, very important to take care of their parents. It's assumed. Here, it's like business. Yeah, what do you do for me lately? You know, that's not right. I mean, we're a new society. It's got to go. That attitude is not healthy for us. Long life. So it's been done before. Look at the cultures that venerate their parents. He won't let you watch television, so shut up. You know, they have to be disciplined. All right. The Buddha himself, to repay his mother's kindness, went to the heaven of the 33 to teach her the Dharma. Well, he's the Buddha. He could do that. I don't have the schedule for the train to the heaven of 33. We don't know how to get there, but he did. Well, good. I don't like examples of what the Buddha did because I can't do it. I like examples of everybody, normal people. Okay. It is said that even if we were to serve our parents by carrying them around the whole world on our shoulders, it would still not repay their kindness. Forget, we were helpless. We couldn't read or write or do anything, even feed ourselves, clean ourselves. They did it. Month after month after month. And suddenly we got to be teenagers and we knew everything. They weren't important. Not the case. So, however, we can repay their kindness by introducing them to the Buddha's teaching. At least show them Tanka something. My mother and father didn't care, but I made sure they went to see the Kalachakra Mandala at Madison Square Garden. As my mother and father saw His Holiness, like this. That's about as much as they could take. If I tried to talk to them about it, but all right, that's something. You know, in Tibet, they even would put pictures of Buddhas, paint them on rocks, and it would go into the consciousness of even animals and help them in the long run. Not immediately. No. Maybe, I don't know. Most likely not. So always serve your parents in thought, word, and deed, and try to find ways to bring them to the Dharma. The great master of Odhyana said, "Do not make old people distressed. Look after them with care and respect." See, this guy who's supposed to be a wandering yogi, no books and nothing, he has a great background. It's all in his mind. And he comes out with all these quotes. In whatever you say and do, be kind to all those older than you. Take care of them and do whatever you can to please them. I'm the oldest one in the room, by the way. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen. Never mind. I'm all right.
Actually, Buddha is next to you.
Buddha's ageless. He's ageless. There's no time element there. It's a construct that we create. But that's true. He's been around. 2501? Oh, I forgot to get you a cake. I forgot. Oh, I'll send you a Starbucks gift card. Nowadays, most people say there's no way to get on in the samsaric world without harming others, but this is not true. Oh, everybody lives by killing. Oh, you can't do this. Oh, you have to He's saying it's not true. Long ago in Khotan, two novices were meditating on the sublime Manjushri. Another story. This is good. When we're tired, I like these stories. So, one day he appeared to them and said, "There is no karmic link between you and me," the two of them he meant. "The deity with whom you have a connection in your past life is the great Avalokiteshvara. He is at present to be found in Tibet, over which he rules as the king." Oh, and this was King Sangsen Gampo, the first Buddhist king of Tibet, considered an emanation of Avalokiteshvara, of Chenrezig. "You should go there and see him." So the two novices, when they took his advice, when the two novices arrived in Tibet and went within the walls of Lhasa, they could see that a large number of people had been executed or imprisoned. They asked what was going on. "Those are punishments ordered by the king," they were told. Ooh. "This king must certainly not be Avalokiteshvara," they said to themselves, and fearing that they might well be punished too, they decided to run away. The king knew that they were leaving and sent a messenger after them, summoning them to his presence. He is Avalokiteshvara. "Do not be afraid," he told them. "Tibet is a wild land, hard to subjugate. For that reason, I have had to produce the illusion of prisoners being executed, dismembered, and so on. But in reality, I have not harmed a single hair on anyone's head." He caused them to see things like this that weren't really going on for their benefit. "The king was the ruler of all Tibet, the land of snows, and brought kings in all four directions under his power. He vanquished invading armies and kept peace among the frontiers. Although he was obliged to conquer enemies and defend his subjects on such a vast scale, he managed to do so without harming so much as a hair on a single being's head. How could it not be possible for us, therefore, to avoid harming others as we look after our own tiny dwellings, which by comparison are no bigger than insects' nests?" He took care of a whole kingdom. We could do it, try anyway. The idea is you should have this attitude, even if you can't carry it out less. Because that attitude you keep generating, imitating, suddenly becomes real. When he gives advice on the bar of things, you do this, suddenly these things happen for you automatically as a result of the momentum created by you constantly wishing. So, of course, ego doesn't want to hear that. Ego wants to say, I do it. And when I say it's done, that's not the way it works. He's sort of giving us that little hint. "Harming others brings harm in return," Zapatro continues. "It just creates endless sufferings for this life and the next. No good can ever come of it, even in the things of this life." You got to hit him back. He hit you, you hit him. How many times do you hear that in the playground? The parents. Don't let him hit. In the long run, that's not the case. You're just continuing the karma. Someone went after you, you go right back after them. They went after you because you had a connection to be attacked. So now you renew that. So you hit them back and you create another connection to be attacked. It's endless. No one ever gets rich from murder, theft, or whatever it might be in the long run. They only end up paying the penalty and losing all their money and possessions in the process. The image given for boundless love is a mother bird taking care of her chicks, baby birds. She starts by making a soft, comfortable nest. She shelters them with her wings, keeping them warm. She is always gentle with them, and she protects them until they can fly away. Like that mother bird, learn to be kind in thought, word, and deed to all beings in the three worlds. He's teaching you how animals act to change your own character. If they can do that, why not you? So in the image also of the bird, the mother is easy to handle in your mind. It doesn't hurt. And some people like animals naturally. You like animals. So it's easy to hear this and think of that. We were birds at one time. They say we were everything, all forms of life. I remember you gave me some rice when I was a bird. It was too spicy, though. I'm complaining. Never mind. Meditation, do we have time for meditation on compassion? Yes, we do. The meditation on compassion is to imagine beings tormented by cruel. This one's hard. I'm warning you. This one's not easy to hear. But he's deliberately bringing up something from the gut. The meditation on compassion is imagine being tormented by cruel suffering into which beings being tormented and wish them to be free from it. We don't have to imagine too much these days. News brings us everything we want. A full plate. Mothers with children, dead children in their arms, and say, come on. As it is said, and he's quoting, he doesn't give who the quote is from, but he said, think of someone in immense torment, a person cast into the deepest dungeon awaiting execution, or an animal standing before the butcher about to be slaughtered. Feel love towards that being as if it were your own mother or child. You put this video in your head, this image, and then check your feelings. Oh, how would it be if I was that being? About the animal being slaughtered, or a person in a dungeon, you don't know what's going to happen to you. What would I do? And then you think, this could be my child, my mother, whatever. Not good. You want to raise compassion up from the depth. Imagine a prisoner condemned to death by the ruler and being, Zapatrul's, that's not the quote, this is his words. A prisoner condemned to death by the ruler and being led to the place of execution, or a sheep being caught and tied up by the butcher. How do you feel in pending death when you're so frightened? Right, you're not a yogi. A yogi wouldn't have just left the thing off, but that's not us. When you think of a condemned prisoner, instead of thinking of that suffering person as someone else, imagine it's you. Dead man walking. Ask yourself, what would you do in that situation? What now? Now what do I do? There's no way to run, no way to hide, no refuge, and no one to protect you. You have no means of escape. You cannot fly away. You have no strength, no army to defend you. Now, at this very moment, all the perceptions of this life are about to cease. That's right. You will even have to leave behind your own dear body that you have sustained with so much care and so much care, and set out for the next life. What anguish. Otherwise, you know what, I don't have to tell you. You could imagine yourself being walked, with guns on your head. Train your mind by taking the sufferings of that condemned prisoner upon yourself. May that suffering come to me. It's only imagination. But it's a mental act, and mental acts run the world. Not contracts and armies. Mental acts run the world. And when you think of a sheep being led to slaughter, I don't want, no. Do not think of it just as a sheep. Instead, feel sincerely this is your own old mother and they are about to kill, whom they are about to kill. And ask yourself, what would you do in such a situation? What are you going to do now that they are going to kill your old mother, even though she has done no harm? Experience in the depth of your heart the kind of suffering that your mother must be going through. When your heart is bursting with the desire to do something right away, because first the shock and then you want to do something. And they prove this scientifically. When great meditators meditate on compassion, the muscle that says get up and do something is activated in the brain. Not the part that feels sorry, oh, poor thing, I got to do something. So that's very important. When this feeling comes about you, that's very good. You're conditioning the mind to automatically in the future, being over here, over there, very smartly doing what's needed to remove suffering. So that's how we train. So with your heart, when your heart is bursting with the desire to do something right away to prevent your old mother from being butchered on the spot, reflect that although this suffering creature is not actually your father or mother in this present life, it is sure to have been your parent at some time in your past lives and to have brought you up with great kindness in just the same way. It's so vast, all our lives in the past. We don't know. We can't figure it out now. A Buddha can. Oh, you were my mother 10 million years ago. I remember you. Not us. Not yet. So there's no real difference. Alas, your poor parents who are suffering so much, if only they could be free from the distress right now, without delay, this very instant. With these thoughts in your heart, meditate with such unbearable compassion that your eyes fill with tears. It's not bad if your nervous system gets involved and your body gets involved. That's very good. They always say this. Longtree Tampa, who wrote 8 verses, trained him, was always crying. They asked him why. It was like all the sufferings of all sentient beings. I could see them. Unusual. When your compassion is aroused, think of how all this suffering is the effect of harmful actions committed in the past. Don't do what a lot of young Buddhist students, well, it's their karma. Don't think that way. That's really stupid. I mean, that's really bad. I mean, go into politics if you think that way. Don't come here, really. All those poor beings now indulging in harmful actions will inevitably have to suffer too. That's right. So think about that. All these people directing bombs flying all over the place. What's going to become of them as a result of that act? I know some of the nuns where Sarah have this theme, who's going to pray for the sinners? Us. Amazing. People think that way. With this in mind, meditate with compassion. All beings who are creating causes of suffering for themselves by killing and other harmful actions. Then consider the suffering of all beings born in the hells, among pretas and other realms of torment. Identify with them as if they were your parents or yourself, and meditate on compassion with great energy. Finally, reflect deeply on all beings in the three worlds. Wherever there is space, there are beings. You can't see them, they're there. Our perception is limited. Wherever there are beings, there are negative actions and the resultant suffering. On the Pure Land here, this is not. Poor beings involved only in all that negative action and suffering, exclamation. He says, how wonderful it would be if each individual being of the six realms could be free from all the perceptions brought about by past actions, all these sufferings and negative tendencies, and attain everlasting happiness, the everlasting happiness of perfect Buddhahood. And look at this tricky word he said, this tricky phrase. It would be wonderful if all the beings of the six realms could be free from all the perceptions brought about by past actions. The way they're seeing things is caused by their past actions. The way they see the world of suffering and the conclusions they reach, all brought about by their past actions. If your past actions are clean, you'll see as a Buddha sees, everything is pure, infinitely pure. But they don't. They're burdened by the karma of these past actions. So that's a little lesson in there with a few words that he's giving us. All this we have control of. You don't need money. You just need your mind. When you start meditating on compassion, it is important to focus first on suffering beings individually, one at a time, and only then to train yourself step by step until you can meditate on all beings as a whole. Otherwise, your compassion will be vague and intellectual. It will not be the real thing. Intellectuals, right? And you agree, yeah, that sounds good, that's right. Oh, I'm so glad he said, what about from in here? What about the nervous system and your determination? So you don't have to sit in a room quiet like this. You can bring these thoughts up moments at a time when you're doing other things. And the more you bring them up little by little, the more they'll come back to you. You'll start noticing, oh yes, I should think about this. You'll naturally start running compassionate themes in your mind or anything else. Whatever you think about, it's going to come back. You know that. Constantly think about, going to war or something, become crazy. You're running after this or that. Most people think, oh, I got to get a new car, I got to get a house. And it's obsessive with them. And doing everything. All right, very nice. But that's not what this is about. But the mechanism is the same. The more you think of something, the more you're going to rethink and rethink. And then a character is formed. And your next lives are formed on the basis of that. Hey. Too much work. It's on TV. Reflect particularly on the sufferings and hardships of your own cattle, sheep, pack horses, and other domestic animals. Oh, yeah. In my house, I have several cattle. This doesn't apply to it. This is of the time and the audience he's talking to. We inflict all sorts of barbarity on such creatures. This is hard to heal, comparable to the torments of hell. We pierce their noses, castrate them, pull out their hair, and bleed them alive. This is a custom in Tibet where they would pull hair physically out of the yak's stomach and cause the poor yak to bleed and collect that and make blood sausage. How disgusting. That's barbaric. That's what they would do. People thought there was nothing. That's the way things are. But he's pointing it out. This is not right. And then he goes after monks and nuns who eat the food like that. He lets them have it. He's not friendly. He tells the truth, this guy. If you want to hear this, otherwise we'll leave it alone. We pierce their noses, blah, blah, blah. Not even for a moment do we consider that these animals might be suffering. If we think about it carefully, the trouble is that we have not cultivated compassion. Think about it carefully right now. Were someone to pull out a single strand of your hair, you would cry out in pain. You would not put up with it at all. Yet we twist out all the long belly hairs of our yaks, leaving a red wheel of bare flesh behind it. And from where each hair was growing, a drop of blood begins to flow. Although the beast is grunting with pain, it never crosses our mind that it is suffering. We're really blind to suffering. And he's telling us Tibetan people that. What kind of suffering are we blind to today? We don't go pulling out heads of animals and stuff, but what's going on? Wars and stuff. And we put it on the shelf because we don't want to deal, but it's horrible suffering. We cannot stand having a blister on our hands. Sometimes when our backsides hurt from traveling on horseback, we can no longer sit in the saddle and have to ride side saddle instead. But it never occurs to us that the horse might be weary or suffering. When it can no longer go on, it stumbles, panting for breath. We still think that it's just being stubborn. We lose our temper and thresh it without a moment's sympathy. The poor horse can't do it. Hit the horse. He's pointing out how callous we are. So this is of its time. We don't ride horses anymore. But think of maybe how we're callous to other people and we don't realize. When it comes along, we lose our temper and thresh it without a moment's sympathy. Think of an individual animal, a sheep, for example, that is being slaughtered. First, as it is dragged from the flock, it is struck with paralyzing fear. A blood blister comes up where it has been grabbed. It is thrown on its back. Its feet are tied together with a leather thong, and its muzzle bound till it suffocates. It's common in Tibet to suffocate animals. Tells the truth. If in the throes of its agony the animal is a little slow in dying, the butcher, that man of evil actions, just gets irritated. Here's one that doesn't want to die, he says, and he hits it. Nice guy. We should have compassion for him, because what's his karma going to be coming back at him? Hardly is a sheep then that is already being skinned and gutted. At the same time, another beast is being bled till it can't walk straight. The blood of the dead animal is mixed with the blood of the living one, and the mixture is cooked up as sausages in the entrails of one already disemboweled. Anyone who could eat such things afterward must be a real cannibal. And then he goes on, I won't do it, how monks and nuns gather when the Rinpoche's coming, let's kill the animal, give them the best, and they eat. He's criticizing his own teachers, the people who call themselves teachers. And it's a warning to us to be careful. I'm going to leave it at this because it gets really nasty, and I don't think you had enough. So we'll just do a little bit of the Bardo state. His Holiness Dalai Lama. We're shifting. But anyway, you got the idea. It's an emotional thing when you meditate on compassion. It's necessary to bring all parts of the mind together to make a more powerful statement internally that'll stay with us. So we're talking now about the Bardo state. You die, and before that we'll do summary advice. This is page 188 of this book, Advice on Dying. Remember, everyone dies, nobody's dead. So you thought you'd die and get away from it all, and that's it? No. Sorry. Advice from the last chapter. Highly developed practitioners are able to utilize the common clear light of death and the wind on which it rides as the substantial cause of pure mind and body respectfully. People who are yogis can handle the dying process, to put it bluntly. To be able to rise from within the mind of clear light, the subtlest mind we have, which is always operating now, but we don't see it. It's covered by the gross minds, 7 levels above it. In a pure body fashioned from wind, it is necessary to have previously practiced imagining yourself as having an altruistically motivated mind and body. What is performed in imitation eventually leads to what is accomplished in fact. So how do you automatically, the clear light dawns arise in the body of a deity? Because of your previous practice, your momentum. What you imitated finally becomes real. So this thing they say, fake it till you make it, has meaning. Yeah. Bringing about the final transformation requires not passing backward from the fundamental innate mind of clear light to a coarser level of mind. This yields a deathless state. You become a Buddhist. You don't go backtracking to the next another life. So it's the 15th stanza from the Panchen Lama's poem, which is Dalai Lama's commenting on. If due to karma an intermediate state is established, many erroneous appearances be purified. So when we go into this dream-like bardo, this is wrong appearances, may they be purified so we see what's really there. Through immediately analyzing and realizing the absence of inherent existence, of the sufferings of birth, death, and the intermediate state, the whole process is free of inherent existence. It's nominated, designated. You can get out of it like that by realizing that. Everything we're doing here now is nominated, designated. The reality isn't that. The deep reality. At the end of the period during which the subtlest mind remains in the body, there is a slight movement of the wind on which the mind of clear light rides, and the most subtle wind and most subtle consciousness leave the open drop of red and white constituents at the heart and exit the body. Remember, the red and white came together, the subtlest wind and mind are there, they open, it goes, you're gone, you're out of this body. Now what? Where do I go? Let me see what it says on my phone. It says I shouldn't, never mind, it doesn't do that. A small amount of blood emerges from the nose, and a small amount of essential white fluid emerges from the sexual organ, indicating that this final level of consciousness has left the body, although these signs might not occur in those whose bodies have been wasted by disease. At this point, the body begins to rot and smell. You're out of tukdam if you're that kind of person. Now the body decomposes. That's it. Because the subtlest mind, and when sayonara, they're gone somewhere else. Sajen, they're gone. They go somewhere else. The best of these yogis who do not achieve Buddhahood during their lifetime achieve an illusory body in place of an intermediate state. Ordinary people unable to rise in an illusory body because they have not attained the higher realizations pass into an ordinary intermediate state through the force of karma. If this happens, you should immediately recognize and understand your situation. When the clear light ceases and the remaining 7 states start to dawn in reverse order, this marks the beginning of the intermediate state. You have a birth into the intermediate state, and you go back, radiant black, radiant red, radiant white, mirage smoke, mirage the backwards going. Clear light, black mind, red orange, white mind, flame of a lamp, fireflies, smoke, mirage. These are the appearances you're seeing. Then boom, you're a bardo being. Just as when you go to sleep, you emerge with a dream body. In the sleep, you're dreaming, you're calling up your friends, you're doing whatever you have to do. There's no one there. This is all your mind. Nobody brought in, a set that your friends could walk in on and say hello. No. But we think it is. We're carrying on like, hey, Harry, have a soda. No. So, the dream. So in the intermediate state, you suddenly have a body shaped like that in which you will be reborn. This is a controversy. Some say, well, in the immediate state between lives, it's half your old life and half your no. The Yellow Hat sect and a few others say it's the state you're going to be reborn in. You'll be looking like that. A semblance of what you're going to become. This body is often like your future body around 5 or 6, a little body, a mini me. Like a dream body, it is made from a wind-mind combination. The wind on which the mind of clear light rides is the substantial cause of that body, but it is also a cooperative condition contributing to the mind of the intermediate state. The mind of clear light, conversely, is the substantial cause of the mind of the intermediate state and the cooperative condition contributing to the body of that intermediate state being. This assumes that you know what main and cooperating causes are. We always have them. So for instance, you're making a pot. The main cause of the pot is the clay. The cooperating conditions are the potter, the water, the machines and all that. So the main thing is a substance carrying over. The contributing factors are other things that bring it to fruition, something like that. Usually I use a potter and clay, because that was, so the main cause is the clay, contributing causes is water, color, whatever they put in it, and all that. There was a monk official from the Geluk order, a good practitioner and also courageous. When the Chinese Liberation Army came to Chamdo in the Kham province of Tibet, Chamdo in the Kham province of Tibet, and liberated it, he was a subordinate to the representative of the Tibetan government near the area. The representative felt that it was important to meet with the Chinese and ask his subordinates if there was anyone willing to meet them, but everyone except this monk official and another were afraid to go. This trusted and courageous man related to me that on one occasion his mother told him, "I will go into deep sleep and don't touch my body." For a week she was in deep sleep, after which she returned. During that week, her soul or mind visited various places. She's a yogi. She knew what she was doing. Her son had no reason to lie to me, and he was not just reporting a rumor. This was not a case of dying, returning from death, but most likely a special dream body. People can do this. Good for espionage. You can find out a lot. Oh, we have to end it, so we won't get to. In the intermediate state, your body is fashioned from wind and mind. You have all five senses, but your body is clear like a rainbow, casting no shadow, and you do not leave footprints. By the magical force of karma, you are naturally endowed with the ability to travel in a very short time around or through this world system, not just the world system, unimpeded by earth, rock, mountains, and buildings. Nevertheless, once you have entered your new mother's womb, you cannot leave, right? That's it. Now you took a physical body. Now it's back on the pile, the rest of it. Although you speak to your relatives, friends, and others, they don't hear you and thus do not answer in return. That should be interesting. Oh boy. You do not see sun, moon, or stars. Despite your not having had clairvoyance previously, you have limited clairvoyance now because the mind is subtler. We actually are carrying clairvoyance with us, but our minds aren't, they're covered up by the gross levels of consciousness. Loosen them up, and up comes clairvoyance to different degrees. If you find that you show signs of being in this state, you should think, I have died and am now dwelling in the intermediate state. Oh, really? Oh, good, I don't have to pay any bills. No. Use the power of mindfulness to realize that pleasant and unpleasant appearances during the intermediate state are the creations of a mistaken mind. Like in a dream. You're creating the whole show. Don't get scared and scream, although you do. You run away and all this. There's nothing there. There's no room in the bedroom for all this stuff. Horses and cars and everything. No. And use mindfulness to understand that there's no point in being attached to the pleasant or angered by the unpleasant. Instead, imagine that you have risen in an illusory body, realizing that the various appearances and sufferings of death, intermediate state, and rebirth are without inherent existence, that they are not true. Know that these appearances are due to former actions karma, which do not, in fact, have even a particle of true establishment. When they say not as true, they mean not really as they appear. That's the key. When they say true this, true that, true appear, it means it's appearing one way, but that's not the way it is. Everything here appears inherently existent, but that's not the way they are. But we don't have the perception that sees that. Just as in deity yoga, you actively imagine that everything is infinitely pure, fashioned from compassion and wisdom. So here in the intermediate state, you view all appearances of beings as gods, goddesses, and all the appearances of environments as wondrous mansions, mandalas. Here they are. That's what you should have in the back. Everything is pure, infinitely pure, thereby detaching yourself from any dislike for the ugly or attraction to the beautiful. You're out of that game. I don't like. Everything's great, blissful. You are seeking to cause whatever appears to dawn as empty of inherent existence, and whatever is empty to emerge as the sport of bliss, the sport of a deity. So all these are the play of voidness and bliss, whatever. So that's what goes on in the Bardo state. He says it's important, summary advice, to recognize the signs that you're in the intermediate state. Yeah, you died, now you're in the between state, okay? All right, thanks, I didn't know, I'm glad you told me. View all pleasant and unpleasant appearances and experiences as expressions of your own good and bad karma, just like they are now. Don't complain. Everything we have is a result of our karma. In place of what is presented to you, imagine that you have arisen in an illusory body, imagining all appearances of being as ideal expressions of compassion and wisdom, and all appearances of environments as wondrous mansions. How could you do this? Because they're not inherently existent. There's no such thing as inherent existence. So if you wake up, you don't have to suffer. Refrain from disliking the ugly or liking the beautiful. That puts a lot of people out of business, but sorry. Realize that the various appearances and sufferings of death, intermediate state, and rebirth are empty of inherent existence. They do not exist in their own right, not the way we think they do. Are they non-existent? No, but they don't exist the way we think they do. So we won't be able to get to His Holiness. We'll do this Wednesday night, From Here to Enlightenment. It's a little discussion on the object of negation. A little heavy, but I think we had enough. Who do we pray for besides all the victims of the expensive munitions raining down on everybody, everywhere? The school. Janet Newhouser? Photographer. Recollection of Noble Three Jewels. I prostrate to the Omniscient One. Thus the Buddha, Bhagavat, Tathagata, Arhat, Samyak Sambuddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strength cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He's not stained by the realm of desire. He's not stained by the realm of form. He is not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He is completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavat, who arise in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavat teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma which is taught by the Bhagavat is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy. It puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great Jnana, they enter completely, they enter insightfully, They enter straightforwardly, they enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with joined palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They are filled with glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. The protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Tathagata. Pure, the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. So now we have 8 verses for training the mind by Langtri Tangpo, who we mentioned was always crying when he thought about sufferings of all beings. With the determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings, who surpass even a wish-granting jewel, I will learn to hold them supremely dear. Whenever I associate with others, I will learn to think of myself as the lowest amongst all, and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. I will learn to search into my mind, and as soon as a disturbing emotion arises, endangering myself and others, I will firmly face and avert. I will learn to cherish ill-natured beings and those oppressed by strong misdeeds and sufferings, as if I had found a precious treasure difficult to find. Others out of jealousy treat me badly, with abuse, slander, and so on. I will learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I have benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering of my mothers. I will learn to keep all these practices undefiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, and by understanding all phenomena as light illusions, be released from the bondage of attachment. Prayer for the swift return of Chenlarata Rinpoche, written by His Holiness Dalai Lama. Exalted wisdom of all victors gathered in a drop, sole refuge manifest in the form of the one wearing saffron robes, Gulo Zhang Tuguang Doje Chang. Please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast waves of aspirational prayers. Lord of speech of the Victor Losang's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guests in unsurpassed great awakening. Yet you have withdrawn the activities of the form body that serves the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the Bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you to cyclic existence's end, to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by bodhicitta drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled supreme emanation, full holder of the sage's teachings, and wish-fulfilling jewel, return as the glory of Losang Tempe. Magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala, Karmayama, and Sri Mata Devi, and the oceans of Dharma protectors, may you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moonlight face. This concludes tonight's presentation. The next Dharma talk will be Wednesday night, 7 o'clock at the Parsonage in South Orange. On our website, you will find instructions on how to get there. This Saturday, there is no Tara. It is a non-Tara Saturday. And Monday night next week, we'll hopefully be back right here at 7 o'clock. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Big love to all of you. Ttc Nyc. You have to massage everything.